that business. Now, in terms of their roster, I think he loves the idea that they don't have superstars.
Oh.
They don't have that guy where we're looking at that team saying, oh, if you stop him, they're done. They don't really have that offensively. You got to play them honest. Name a guy on their offensive roster where you look at them and you feel like you can.
That's not a positive.
I'm not saying it's not a positive, but it's also not a negative when that's all you've known.
But are those skill position players good enough to take them to the next level, as he's talking about?
When a championship winning head coach says, "I've been on 6 teams that I believe."
He says some wild stuff, man.
I understand that.
And the media, listen, friends of mine are included in this. The media loves Sean Payton. Everybody loves Sean Payton, and that's fine. So he gets a pretty wide berth on stuff other coaches be criticized for. The last time I heard Sean Payton talking like this before a season, it was about what a clown show they were under Nat Hackett. And then within 2 weeks, they were having 70 dropped on him. That happened. He also said in this interview that he expects in the next 2 years for Bo Nix to be a top 4 or 5 quarterback in the NFL. Okay. Like, that's fine. Noted.
He believes in Bo Nix.
What's wrong with it?
No, I think that there is there's a direct correlation between what we read in a quote and how we perceive the coach to be how it's covered. If you had let's just do Ben Johnson with you right now. If Ben Johnson said, we are Super Bowl expectations, and in the next 2 years, Caleb Williams is going to be a top 4 quarterback, you would be out here not happy. So, like
no,
that.
He just rose the expectations and put a bullseye from the media on their.
And the quote. I agree with what you're saying, Greg, about saying it internally. I think that it takes. You mentioned the big red bully in Kansas City. When the quarterback that wins your division every year is 13-1 in his career against your team, your quote right at the end of the year saying, we loved our matchup with that team, is an outrageous quote.
They lost 16-14 on a blocked field goal.
Yeah.
I understand.
He has the right to say that.
Okay. I think in
16-14, like Mahomes had one time. It's 16
a
points.
lot of teams played the Chiefs.
I understand, but Wilds.
Most teams played.
Wilds, hold on. Can I just honest question? When the Patriots were beating the Bills twice a year, every year, if one of the J.P. Lossman Bills teams that made the playoffs played them tight once, and then Rex Ryan says, "Oh man, we just got beat by 4 touchdowns in the playoffs. But if we had won the game where we got our ass kicked, we liked our matchup against Brady and Belichick."
I think the Ravens put like 41 on them, and then they came back and they lose 16-14 on like a crazy. I mean, the Chiefs were 9-0. That made the Chiefs 9-0. So I get it. That was the confusing part of the Chiefs narrative.
Right, but I just don't think. I think that any other coach, after losing by 4 scores in the playoffs, saying we loved our matchup against the 2-time defending Super Bowl champion that is about to beat the team that beat us by 4 scores, we might be biting off a little more than you can chew.
Head up to Buffalo, where James Cook is not cooking. He's not even warming up. Hello. When asked about his absence, Cook simply replied, "Business." Which makes sense. Here's Bills GM Brandon Beane.
At the end of the day, I wish we weren't here. This is my 9th season here. We've never had a player miss due to a contract or anything like that, so that's disappointing for me. It's not something we want, not something we're looking forward to. But at the end of the day, it's like I said earlier, it's kind of sometimes can be the way of the world, and so we'll deal with it the best we can.
All right, here's James Cook's last 2 seasons, bro. 15 touches a game, had almost 1,300 yards, total yards, 18 total touchdowns. That's a lot. Set to make about 5 1/4 in the final year of his rookie deal. Are you worried about this holdout?
No,
hold in, I should
because this gets done because it has to get done. Like the Bills, I don't think the Bills are Super Bowl contenders without James Cook. Like the way they play now, they're a run-first team, and Josh Allen isn't running all the time. Cook is huge for them. Over 1,000 yards the last 2 years, been good catching the ball out of the backfield. He's their 3rd leading receiver last year as far as receptions. So they need Cook. I don't see either of those guys behind him being able to duplicate what Cook does. You think so?
I mean, that's a lot. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to negate who James Cook is, but for you to say that, when you look at what Ray Davis and Ty Johnson was able to do last year with the minimal carries that they had, they were very productive. Very productive. And they can catch the ball out of the backfield as well. I want to say Ray Davis Ty Johnson had more yards receiving than James Cook did. And no one would think that because we don't know about these guys, but they're effective. Now, I'm not saying that they are James Cook,
that's all.
But they can be productive. And this is when you think about the running back market, like James Cook, as great as those numbers are, it's like, well,
I heard that before, though.
You did.
Another franchise.
You did.
Is he? Pollard?
Yes.
I knew he was.
And y'all might. And look, I'm not saying James Cook is Saquon Barkley.
No. You better not be.
And I wasn't saying Tony Pollard was Ezekiel Elliott. But I am saying there's levels, and Tony Pollard and James Cook were at this level, and Rico Dowdle and the guys you mentioned, I think, are down on this level. Like, I think that's
fair.
They're okay, but the more touches they would get, their production probably would decrease.
Well, two things, just real quick. I think it's tricky because James Cook was sensational the last 2 years, but James Cook going into 2 years ago, which is his first big year, he was just one of those guys.
He was.
You know what I mean? Now, I think he was second-round draft pick for the.
He had some expectations.
So that part's true. The tricky thing for James Cook is he has to get paid because he's never been paid and he's a running back. The tricky thing for Buffalo is they have $0. Spot Rack has it wrong, I guess, because they're not allowed to be over. But Spot Rack has them at $700,000 over the cap right now, which can't be the case. But it means they're right up against it. And if I'm Buffalo, I also don't. I know how good James Cook is right now. I don't want to give him long-term money because of the position, and it's just how it works. So it's a tricky spot. He probably gets like a 1-year, $8 million bump or something like. Not great, but
you don't think he's?
No, Spot Track predicted 4 for 40.
I would not give him.
I don't see
all that.
The moment I loved our Subaru